we find ourselves. So Shigar, Misha Kashak, Gornok, Shorty McBiscuits, Sandy Ravage, Van and McCloud find themselves in a dark, damp room as you slowly fade into consciousness. All of your possessions not being on your body. In fact, you're barely even clothed, wearing nothing but your undergarments. As you come to, you slowly gather the room around you as you see the dim light coming from a sunset, coming through an iron-barred window, as well as mossy stone scattered about, and what looks to have once been a bed, disheveled in lack of repairs, being nothing but 2x4s, and what looks like a very damp pillow, filled with a liquid you probably don't want to know.
Oh.
To your right, as you all start to come to, more centered in the room as you're split apart, the four of you, Shigar, Misha Kashak, Gornok, and Van and McCloud, find yourselves in a stall looking towards Shorty McBiscuits and Sandy Ravage in the other cell, which actually looks a bit more well kept with a bed that's actually intact. However, there is a vat of goo that is unintelligible, mostly yellow and coarse in its nature. It looks to be pulsating on the bed, almost telling you to not come near it. As you all start to kind of gather your surroundings, you hear a cell door swing open from the outside as two guards come walking in with a small figure. It appears to be Paulsum Amans, being held. None of your tomfoolery with your magic in here. They swing the cell door open to the cell that holds both Sandy Ravage and Shorty McBiscuits and toss him in. We'll have enough of that, and they slam the door shut. They turn around, not even wanting to hear a word from the man, as they'd walk out and lock the cell door. This is where you all find yourselves. Again, you have none of your belongings. You don't know what happened. You don't remember the last 30 days.
Jesus.
All you know is you're here. And again, just to recap who's in what room, we have Shorty McBiscuits, Sandy Ravage, and Paulsum Amans in one cell. And then we have Vanna McCloud, Gornok, Misha Kashak, and Shigar in the other cell. And scene.
So what cell is the yellow goo in?
The yellow goo is in the one with Shorty McBiscuits, Sandy Ravage, and Paulsum Amans.
I don't even know what that is.
I'm looking around. I want to know what's going on.
Okay.
I don't know what the fuck's happening.
You guys
Very
look like you're in the trouble.
God.
Maybe you should eat it.
I'm naked, basically, and it's very disturbing to me. And
You should not be disturbed.
Goo is.
This
So
is as if you were born.
as if I'm born in prison.
Yes, it's how you were born. You were born with no clothes.
It's like your birthday suit, bro.
I want to make it clear that
she understands.
I want to make it clear that Misha Kashak is the only one that didn't seemingly wake up. She looks like she just freshly got dragged in there and is just kind of going with the flow.
I've been here before. It is through Ringer. You know I am criminal. It happens all the time.
It happens all the time.
Okay, so like, what's an hour cell? Is there anything in our cell?
In the bigger
me.
cell, there's a
There is
broken bed, like I said, leftovers of planks, and a very
And
damp
I'm leaning
pillow.
on it all nice. And I
And a
throw
very
a pillow at you.
And a very what? Damp
A
pillow? Is that what you're
very, very
saying? Moist.
pillow.
Okay,
All right.
moist. All right.
It's
Can we
if you
we
want to
get a description of-
investigate it or anything, you can use your skills that we know
chief
of.
of wheat in my mouth, but I'm using pencil as a reference.
Can you get a what?
Can we get a description of our cell again, please?
In your cell, it's definitely cleaner. There's not as much damp stone. And you're closer to the torch that's lighting the room, so it's definitely a little bit more well lit. But your one bed, so to speak, has this yellow rough goo that seems to be pulsating, and you hear this like very faint sound of like it's breathing.
Does anybody else want to come check this goo out? Because I'm not touching it, man.
Maybe you three should try to eat it.
Hey, don't eat me! Fucking out of your mind!
Oh my god.
Hey, don't eat me! You hear the sound come from the goo as it says, "Hey, don't eat me!"
What the fuck,
man? What was that, man? I'm gonna hide behind this guy.
If I were in your cell, I would try to eat it.
You're out of your mind.
You guys are
Sandy
cannibals!
Ravage doesn't eat strange yellow goo, man.
Like,
Yo,
how
man.
about we like make the new guy eat it?
In my country, we eat whatever we can.
Cractoplasms
Sandy-
are beings too.
Sandy Ravage gonna protect me, right, man?
Yeah.
You guys
As long
don't
as you
know
don't
each other's. To make sure it's clear, you guys do not know each other. You have no clue who each other is.
I'm hiding behind him anyway.
Are the guards still in the hallway? Or
Oh,
have
they.
completely
You
left?
heard footsteps going down the hallway. They're gone. As far as your
Don't
knowledge.
worry, they won't come back.
I noticed
How-
Shorty.
Okay.
I noticed Shorty trying to hide behind me, so I say, "Hey!" And I turn around real quick and I say, "Stop hiding behind me, man. I don't know you. I'm not gonna
You might-
protect somebody I don't know."
Hey,
Be careful
well,
when they got a short stack. You might want to rethink who you hide.
I left down south just to get out of the heat of the kitchen, man.
I don't care where you're from, man. Don't hide behind me unless I give the okay, brother.
What does down south mean? Down south of where?
What the fuck does that mean? I'm wondering that too.
Down south, man.
Down south of what?
I don't know. Depends on where we're at, man.
Who wants to check out this fucking goo, man?
I think you should touch it with the torch.
What is that thing over there in the corner that is talking so deep?
Question for DM.
Yep.
How flimsy are these bars?
If you want to take a. Oh man, what would the check be for that?
Would it be a perception?
Perception or honestly, yeah, I'd do a perception check. If you want to roll a perception check, we can see. This is something to kind of learn from, guys. She's kind of using one of her skills.
Where's my D20? Oh fuck! That's a 10.
The 10.
10.
They
total.
look sturdy. They look like iron bars.
Sturdy.
Mm-hmm.
So, like sturdy, or like can I like
I
run the
mean,
shit over?
you didn't gather much from your check, if I'm being honest
Right.
with you, between the lighting and everything. They just look like iron bars. I mean, if you're feeling like it, you could definitely try. But
I
I'm
am
quite-
feeling like it. Rush
Go
through the
ahead.
door. Through the little.
just like push the door
Bars.
out, or just trying to break
Yeah.
bend bars.
Well, actually, are there on the door? Like, does it look like I can like unhinge it, like pick it up and unhinge it, or?
So the
No.
door is it has like flat plates of iron at the bottom and top that are making contact with other flat plates. So it wouldn't really be like push up or down.
Okay.
But most likely, if you were like just from your initial glance, the only thing you could maybe perhaps do is maybe try to push on the door or run into the door. But
I'm gonna
again, you
try-
don't have much to gather on whether or not it's flimsy or
Okay,
willing to
well,
bend to you.
I am going to try and run into the door
Okay.
to push it.
So just like we'll just do a strength check.
Strength check.
And we're gonna roll. You're gonna roll to run up to it, and then
Okay.
we'll see how well you do for that part, and then we'll see roughly where you go.
First roll was a 13. What do I count?
So your
what's
plus
that?
your strength modifier.
Well, are we doing this as athletics?
We're doing just a strength check.
Okay, that'll be plus 5, so that's 18.
Okay. So you give it a really solid go as everybody's kind of discussing everything, and the goo's talking in the corner, and Sandy Ravage and Shorty McBiscuits are currently just staring at each other. You guys hear a large bash as Shigar rams herself into the door. But to her amazement of cells and other things that she's got herself into, not only does it not budge, but it actually bruises her shoulder, causing 1 damage. As you kind of like you definitely don't slump down. Like, it's just more of like you really hit it with your all. And you hear the rattle, and you hear from the distance a guard go, "Going on out there!" And as it echoes down the chamber, but you can tell they're pretty far.
Oh my god, that fucking hurt!
Can I do a check to see if I can fit between bars?
Ooh.
They're very narrow. Like, we're talking, these bars are fairly densely packed. We're talking maybe 6 inches of clearance.
Can I do a check to see if I fit between bars?
Go
I have a
nuts, I guess. I mean,
What you want me to do?
I
Yes.
would. It's pretty much a fail, but go for it. You believe however you want.
What's your suggestion?
Like, can we ask the gooey shit on the bed over there in the next cell to maybe, get through the bars? Cause it's goo. It can do whatever the fuck it wants. So maybe it can get through the bars and get a key.
I mean, I have a good rep with these guys.
I was just about to ask if I could perception check, like investigate it.
Investigate the goo.
Mm-hmm.
Go for it.
Oh shit! Of course, I roll low. I got a 5.
It's goo.
Son of a bitch.
Can
That's my high one too.
You can perceive that it's yellow goo.
Can I try the same thing that Lynn's character tried, given that I'm much bigger and stronger?
You can go for it. In your cell, in your cell. I mean, do you want to take a perception check? Do you want to look around a little bit more before you do anything, or because your cell is slightly different than hers?
At the same time as...
Wait, I thought I was in the same cell.
Yeah, we're in the same cell.
Oh yeah, you guys are in the same cell. You're right. You're right. I forgot that it's Sandy Ravage, Shorty McBiscuits, and Toe Lover.
Is there a window? You said there's a window, right?
There's a window surrounded by stone blocks. Nobody's really given it a thorough look yet. I can describe more if somebody checks it out.
In what window is this cell?
The window's in the
Or
cell with
what?
the majority of people, so the one that you're in.
So it's our cell.
Oh,
Yep.
can I look? Can I investigate?
Really quick before you do, Jackal was trying to get something, so I want to make sure we go appropriate.
No, I just want to investigate my cell in general. I want to see what I can perceive out of the individuals in my cell.
Okay. You see.
Shady bastards.
You see an orc that is scantily clad, wearing nothing but basically pasties, as well as what seems to be a very expensive undergarment covering the no-no region, as well as the booty cheeks, and one sock on her left foot. And then you see another figure that's a human figure that is wearing, I would say, more modest, but like definitely more like worn clothing, worn undergarments, like they've been in a cold climate for some time. And then as well as that, you see a large bear figure that looks to be wearing a very slender codpiece. We're talking like a light rope and then what looks like a bucket over its manhood, so to speak.
Oh my god.
And I would say a small bucket, but you could probably put quite a few tools in that bucket.
I'm nicknamed the 2-inch Grinch.
As well as just as you're kind of gathering the individuals, you notice within the room, as you're kind of like staring at different pieces of the room, the wood seems very sharp from the bed as it's been broken down, as well as the windows looks incredibly sturdy, as the stone itself is probably about maybe 4 to 5 feet deep from the window. You've got a little iron bars, but it's got some clearance of it, and the bars look like they go fairly deep inside. Just of your knowledge of being in different buildings through your travels.
May I do a some sort of a perception check on the window bars?
Yeah, you can go for it. After that, we're gonna go Papa, and then we'll go to Lexi.
Fair
So
enough,
we're in
fair
queue.
enough. How do I?
Roll a d20,
Okay.
and then you add your perception modifier.
D20. Boom, got an 18.
Oh.
Ooh.
And there's a perception modifier.
OB or wisdom.
My
Modifier.
wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
So a +1, so 19.
So,
Damn.
as you kind of like, as you're like looking at all of them, you kind of, just not trying to look like you're thoroughly investigating. You don't want to give anybody too many ideas. You approach the bars and you kind of like, you check them out. You kind of grab towards the base of the shaft and work your way up and then back down again. And you realize that they are very solid and maybe even go several feet inside the stone itself. Realizing that you look like you just stroked a member, you awkwardly pull your hand away and kind of go back over your own undergarments and realize that you're very naked as you stroke that in front of a bunch of strangers.
That's fine. Yeah, that makes sense.
Back
that was
to
like totally hot.
back to Gornok. Okay, really quick, guys. Do you see why D&D is fun? Just trying to gather it. Like...
Oh my god.
Keep it up. I want to see more.
So you said that the wood planks that make up our very dilapidated bed are kind of sharp and.
So you can gather a little bit of that. Something to note: you guys aren't in a party, so knowledge that one player maybe gathers is something that you as a person you're hearing it, but you as a character you're not perceiving that same information. And since you aren't close together yet, you're not reciprocating information. So you know what I described the room of earlier and what you saw. Both Mr. Vannon stroking the window, as well as Shigar running into the door, as well as just a brief idea of the room.
Can I do a perception check on the wood planks for the bed?
Yeah. Let's roll a d20 plus your perception.
Okay, I got 17 plus perception. You said that's wisdom?
Yeah, usually.
19.
So you can tell that they are very sharp, and with your knowledge of just your mass, you think that the wood itself is
thick boy.
It's definitely like it's fairly dense. It looks fairly strong. The only idea that comes to mind based off of that is maybe trying to use it to pry the door, but
that's what I was saying.
So you could take one of the bigger, heftier pieces. We'll see if you can lift it. So if you want to pick that up, it's fairly large. I'd say it's maybe 8 feet tall. I mean, they keep all sorts of weird characters in this place. It's about 8 feet in length, and it's really heavy. I'd probably even say, because of the type of wood that they're using here from some of the trees of the realm, it probably weighs 200 pounds ish.
Jesus.
Okay, do I have to do a strength check?
Give me a strength check for that, yeah.
Okay, just a d20?
Yep. D20 plus your modifier.
Also, just to preface this, you are all foggy from alcohol, so you're all a little on in terms of important checks.
In the term of this whole D&D session, I'm always foggy.
Alright.
So I got a 12 plus my thing is 16.
So you get it up, but it's not with grace. It's definitely not to your normal standard.
I'm hungover. What do you expect?
You guys see this bugbear with its long ass arms slowly shimmy this wood up, not with grace. It looks pretty rugged, and he kind of stumbles a little bit, but catches himself as he's holding the big old plank.
Can I assist?
You gotta talk. I don't know. Or you gotta talk to him.
Okay.
Is anybody gonna help me with this shit?
I would like totally help you right now. Like, can I?
I think you got this. You got big arms. Long arms, I see over there.
Hey man, look what they're doing over there.
Would you like some help? Like, I can help. Like, let me help.
Yes.
Oh no, guys! I don't think that's a good idea.
Okay, so I'm gonna help him.
What the fuck?
The slime keeps talking.
I'm gonna help him. Do you want him to roll with advantage, or do you? my check.
What the
I would
fuck did you just
say
I don't know what that means.
roll your strength check just to see how much you support.
Okay.
Okay.
I rolled a 17 plus 5, so that's like what, 3?
22.
Disregarding Gorok's pride, Shigar carries the brunt of the weight all of a sudden as she grabs the back. Definitely not all of it. Definitely not all of it, but you're trying to like maintain your cool. But she's definitely carrying more of it than you.
So
I'm like super strong.
we're putting this up against the door and trying to leverage the door open.
Look, man, I don't know how you would attempt to prop a door,
You
but
have
you might.
to describe this.
So the door it swings inward, and you might go towards the side that would open normally, not the side with the hinges. If you're trying to pry it open,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so maybe between the bars that are right there.
Okay.
trying to figure out how
got
we
some
would.
ugly
So we would angle it.
doors and shit.
We would angle it where the door swings and be pushing the leverage
Against it.
towards the
towards
door.
the bars.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
So do I
both
need
of
to
you,
do another strength check for it, or
you get to do your strength check with advantage because Shigar is helping you. So
So basically, you roll your d20 twice and take the higher.
Yes.
Okay, so the first roll was 18.
Nice.
The second roll was 12. So 18,
So
and
take
then
the 18
does it
plus
do the
your
plus? Okay, so
Yeah, plus your
22.
modifier.
So you give it your go, and you actually slightly bend the bar. We're talking now a solid, I don't know, maybe a foot and a half of clearance. The bar gives and fully breaks, but the door itself doesn't fully give out. You snapped one of the bars, but the other bar
I would
maintained.
like to see if I can fit through that now.
All right. Let's see how that goes. When you guys
am
break
tall,
that,
but
the
I'm
wood
quite
still
thin.
maintains, by the way. It's in good shape. That wood was
Do we
better than
wanna
iron.
Shimmy it first. Try and break some of the other bars.
You could, but the way the bar bent and broke, it would actually give more resistance to the bar of the left of it, if you can catch what I'm describing. It broke from the bottom of it and kind of just pushed it down. It was a loud snap, by the way. Like you heard a as it popped from its place.
Guys, I don't
You
know if
hear
that's such
some-
a good idea.
You hear some shuffling down the hallway as well.
I'm in agreement with
I
the big
want
guy
to-
over there. I don't like the way this is
Papa's
going.
hand-
Those guards
hands
are
in
gonna
his
hear us down
hand.
the hall.
The guards
They're
might
walking
hear
over
us,
here.
and this goo told me not to do it. I think we should talk to the goo.
They're walking over here, man.
You said the foot and a half. I would like to see if I would. I see that there is now foot and a half clearance. I would like
Okay.
to see if I fit.
You can
I'm
try to
telling you
fit.
not to do that, man.
You can roll a dexterity check, but based off of your current alcohol intake, you have disadvantage. So roll twice and take the lower amount.
Hmm.
Does she just always have that disadvantage?
Right now, it's off of a very particularly strong night.
So, I it is plus 16.
You're trying with all your might, but you're literally only able to get about a shoulder through because it's only about, I don't know, maybe almost 2 feet of clearance.
That's plenty. That's 24 fucking inches.
Almost. I mean, it's in an awkward angle. You're trying, but you're drunk and it's awkwardly sized.
Can I shove her through it?
Right.
All right, but
Just
while
shove-
you're doing this, just so we can give some attention to the other room, while you guys are just bending bars and shit, over to the other cell with Shorty McBiscuits, Sandy Ravage, and Paul Simmons. What have you guys been doing for the last, I'd say, probably like 5 minutes, as these buffoons have been, jerking windows and trying to break a door open. And mostly just breaking the cell slowly. What have you guys been up to?
Don't all go first.
Yeah, I was gonna say the three of you are just. It sounds like the three of you are standing there staring at each other, just going.
So
These fucking idiots.
I wanna talk to the goo, man.
Okay. What do you say to the goo? Talk to the goo.
Why don't you think they should lift the bed up like that?
Look, yeah, man, you know, Petey and Harry are, you know, they some polite gods, you know, they just doing their job, and, you know, I don't want no rough business, you know, I don't want to be involved in that.
You think they'd come down hard on us?
Oh, they come down hard. Like, real hard.
I would
What's your
like
name? The short one from down south.
Yo, man, I'm Shorty.
What do you think of this goo, man? What do you think we should do, brother?
I don't know if we could. Well, okay. Well, let me talk to him for a second, man.
You go right ahead.
Hey,
It's a little weird to me.
Hey, goo guy.
This guy's fucking weird.
Why are you so friendly with the guards, man? They put you in here, bro.
Look, man, I get into some scraps, you know what I'm saying? Goose be going around the block, taking out the bitches, taking out snitches, you know what I'm saying? But real talk, you know, I come in here from time to time, pay my way out. My father's he's a fabled, you know, kind of big boy, but, you know, I don't know, maybe 400 kilograms? He's a big boy.
What?
Anyways.
What? Hey, while they're talking to this goo, can I like holler at the guards and tell them to come over?
Give them just a few more moments.
Okay.
Because time has passed a bit, and we need to figure out what they've been up to.
So you gonna pay for us all to get out of here, then, man?
God, no. Did you see that guy that just came in here? The goo makes a hand gesture. It looks like a veiny hand, by the way, that kind of comes out of the goo as he points towards Paulsum Mans. And Paulsum Mans is the only one that's moderately clothed, but he looks to be wearing what appears to be a burlap sack that's been kind of mended into a one strap tank top. When he got thrown in here, though, there was no undergarments. You saw full ball, you full hang, the whole thing, the whole 9 yards of that little gnome. As well as all he had in his possession was a bag that seems to have been dumped out on the ground of what appears to be different variations of toenail clippings that you can perceive and he appears to be scrounging to pick them up while you guys have been distracted with the slime.
I want to roll a perception check on the slime.
Okay.
It's the D20?
Yep. D20 plus your perception.
Of course, fucking.
You can still roll high, dude.
6 plus 3.
You roll the 9. It's you're a little closer. I'll give you that. Some of the people have checked it out, have been hidden behind people, and with your years of experience in the ring, you've seen many a slime. But what you're really roughly able to pick apart is he looks like a royal slime, and you know, the gold is very much, I don't know, mixed in with his diet to try and make him look better than he is. But you know that they're not really one to mess with, mostly because, you know, they can dissolve things with their bodies.
What's your story, Goo?
Like I said, I just get into scraps from time to time, you know, eating some hobos. You know, that somebody's got to do it. You know, we don't have enough food to go around anyways.
Did you just tell me you eat hobos, man?
You don't? Man, this country's a world place.
Hey, you.
As he does that, you see a bone that has like little tatters of flesh slowly drip out and fall to the ground with a clink. But you guys look nice, though. I like how Randy's just like jaw dropped. He's like, I don't know what to do with this.
I don't know if we should trust this slime.
You're saying that as you're cleaning up toenails?
What makes you think I should trust you, man? What are you, into feet or something?
Well, I don't eat hobos, and he sure as hell just told you guys that you guys look tasty.
Well, apparently you
I
eat
didn't say no
toenails,
thing.
man.
Thank you.
I want to roll a perception check on the bars in here.
Okay.
If I can get my phone to recognize my face in these stupid fucking sunglasses. 16.
Nice.
As you look at the bars, you actually notice that your cell looks much newer than the other cell, and they look well intact. You do see the remnants of the scars below where someone might have broken out of previous cells, but this has very, very much been redone like the last couple of years. Not
So the remnants of former times don't matter?
No, you could perceive that it's very tough to get out of your cell.
Okay.
With any sort of strength attempt.
Can I reach the door lock?
Yeah, you can see the door lock from your side. I mean, you're on the inside of the door lock. But,
Can I... Let's see. Can I roll a check to see if I can fit my hand through the bars and reach the other side?
You could. I mean, there's about 6 inches of clearance, so assuming you don't have the biggest arms possible, you could probably make your way around a little bit.
Hey, Goo, man, you wanna help a brother out here?
Look, man, I don't want to. Arian, what's his name? Are just they're crazy guys, man. I don't want none of it.
Another bone drops out onto the ground.
You're telling me that the guards in here are crazy, man, but you keep dropping bones out of your goo. How am I supposed to trust you, man?
Look, man, you know, I come around hard times. Sometimes the man's got a snack.
You guys hear as this is all going down, and the rest of you are also trying to. What was the other team kind of doing at the same time? I kind of lost track a little bit.
We were trying to break the bars.
So you guys, as you're
checking people out,
as you're prepping to put the board into the second part and really give it a go, just to keep prying, you hear full firm footsteps coming down the hall. The door swings open, and a large figure in what looks like iron armor, full face covered, tosses another 2 little goblins in to the cell with the big group. You guys, they know what you're doing. They see it, and the guard just kind of looks you down, holding his claymore, and the 2 little goblins kind of fumble to the ground, and one of them immediately pulls a small shiv and looks at Shigar, and he speaks something in Goblin, but you can't really make it out, and he just kind of like starts like patting around and stumbles and falls a little bit, but he's very drunk and dismayed, and the guard is slowly starting to pull the door shut.
Wait, are we in the drunk tank?
Wait.
Is that what this is?
Wait, hold the fuck up.
Hold on.
Bitch will not pull a shiv on me.
Hold on.
No.
Hold on.
Yeah, go ahead, Lexi.
Before he closes door, I want to grab arm of him and try to seduce him to give me key.
At the same time.
Roll.
At the same time.
Roll performance for me.
Performance? Okay,
And
hold on,
because
let me
you're
see.
drunk, you have advantage.
Yeah! Okay, hold on.
Like, Randy's over there just like, yeah.
Wait, hold on.
Where's Sandy?
Okay,
Jesus.
So I can have one extra language of choice.
Mhm.
That'd be Goblin.
We didn't confirm it, so yeah, go for it.
So, what did homie say if I can understand Goblin?
He said, this is the bitch who took my coin earlier tonight.
Wow.
Okay.
Well,
Sorry.
She doesn't know, but you heard that.
So with advantage, I rolled 19, which is
oh!
so I rolled 20 to try to seduce him to give me key as he leaves.
As he's
From
brandishing his
himself.
claymore, you grab his arm and you know,
I am in nothing but undergarments. Okay,
you
I
flaunt
should be
you flaunt your
seductive.
body. You kind of pull down your bra a little bit, show a little nip, you know, and kind of like move your hair. You know, it's a little tangled because you've been drunk and living your life. You're trying to make it. You pull it off. Okay. Oh my god.
As I do it in real life, okay?
Tablet ruined.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Grab her some paper towels.
I got it.
During the Oh well, he's away. Is
In that case, I'm a be your
so during this time that she's trying to seduce the guard, I speak to the goblin who pulled the shiv and I say, "Excuse me, what are you doing?"
Do not worry, I have it all taken care of. He is now my
All right. While she's seducing the guard, surprisingly, he's all like, you know the drill, Miss. You know the drill, Miss Misha. You know the drill, Miss Kashak.
Gotcha.
If you want to get out early, you gotta follow me back to my office and drop to a knee. You know what I'm saying? And he kind of pulls her aside.
Okay? I do this, okay? You leave key you leave key right there. I can't do it without key, okay?
Kashak and the guard get pulled out. He locks the chamber for the rest of you.
No, I do not come without you leave key on floor.
No, you go to my office. You know the drill. So he grabs Kashak around his arm, kind of grabs her by the scruff, so to speak. He's a big guy. He's probably about a foot on her.
Can I do a sleight of hand check and see if I can finger his keys off?
You would have to be in.
Not where I thought that was
you,
going.
You do not.
Can I see if I can finger him?
Based off of your approach and how he kind of grabbed you and your current inebriation, it's basically impossible.
But I have such good sleight of hands.
Yeah, well, you're really drunk.
But I'm always drunk. Okay.
He takes Kashak out of the cell and locks the door. Unless anybody else had anything, he's locking the door.
Can I?
The goblins are eyeing you right now, Shigar, by the way.
Fuck off, you little shits!
So while whatever mishmash over here. Over here.
Wait, bear man.
I had mentioned.
It's Misha.
Yes, that.
Misha cock.
That I had asked the goblin
Gotcha.
what he thought he was doing, pulling a dagger.
So you asked him what he thought he was doing, pulling a dagger. He looks over at you and he goes, in goblin. He just kind of goes, "Did I stutter? This bitch stole my gold."
Listen, we're all in here together. We need to get out.
Yeah, and she doesn't.
Let's focus on the here and now first.
His friend comes over to you and he's like, "What do you guys got some sort of a thing with the big lady over here?"
Listen, it's not about that.
You guys just hear goblin gibberish as Vanin is just like very like calm goblin, very sophisticated goblin. You're not hearing any like weird half words.
It's not about that. It's simply about getting out of here alive and in one piece. We all want out. You do too. Let's do it together.
The second one that was like looking at you kind of like drops his composure, and he goes, "Oh, what's the urgency, man? Like, this is the drunk tank. You're here for like a day. It's really not the worst.
It's
like,
not that bad.
We get our stuff back, and then we can go back to the tavern tomorrow. It's just what happens. Scraps go down." He starts giving you the kind of a spiel. He's like, I come here maybe once a week. I'm used to seeing Billy over there. He points to the slime. The slime kind of waves with its really veiny looking hand. Meanwhile, the other one who had its gold is still eyeing Shigar, but he's kind of losing his composure a little bit, still looking back at his friend.
So you guys know the slime?
Yeah, let's just say the slime has killed a few of our friends. He's definitely not someone you want to scrap with. Also has a lot of money, though. A lot of money. Noble parents. You know what I'm talking about? Like, very, very top of the line. He then again turns over and waves and smiles.
Perhaps we can use this slime to our advantage, boys.
Again, we don't want to get out. My friend here just really wants to get some... we're only going to be here till tomorrow.
Can I Can I try and take the shiv away from the goblin and use it to pick the lock on the door?
Yes. How would... Okay, really quick. Are you just going to brute force try and take it out of his little hand?
Yeah, I'm fucking 7.5 feet tall and weigh 400
Step
pounds.
on him.
Yeah. It's not an issue to Gornock.
All right. Let's roll... Are you just going to try and grab him, or are you going to try and knock him out, which is like one punch? I mean, how cool. You could Spartan kick the fucker. What do you want to do?
Do I know if the other goblin has a shiv on him?
The other goblin seemingly was just kind of like brandishing his fists.
Okay.
But he's now just talking to Vannon over there.
I want to roll to try and knock him out.
Okay, what are you doing to knock him out? Are you just
fist?
Okay, just gonna punch him in the face.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, like, well, not in the face. I'm gonna like over the top him. Like,
Oh my god.
Yeah, just give him a good old thunk right
All
on the
right,
top
do
of the
it.
head.
Let's see it. I'll
is
give
it
you
a strength?
advantage. I'll give you advantage too, because if you want to, you have the plank still roughly in your hand. You could use that as a weapon. Use your hand, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I'll fuck it, dude. I'll just hit him with the plank. Is it a strength check?
We're just gonna roll a simple weapon check. So just a D20 plus proficiency.
What is proficiency?
Your +2 and your strength. So you'll have a +2 plus your strength. So what's your strength modifier?
+4.
Okay, so you'll have a +6 to your roll, and you have advantage because he's
it's
not looking at
18.
you. 18. Roll again.
Yep.
You have advantage.
Roll again.
Yeah.
3, so 18.
Okay, so you hit. Now we're gonna roll for damage. So I'm gonna have you roll a D12 plus your strength.
D12, you said?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Plus my strength number or the +4?
The +4.
+4.
Okay, so it's 9.
Or +4.
9.
Yeah.
So as you're trying to knock him out, you use way too much of your strength, and you smash into his skull. Those of you who are in the cell have never seen anything like this. The skull folds in and explodes out.
Do that.
It flies all over the roof.
What the fuck just happened to this
It,
guy?
it looks like
I've never seen that before in my life.
I don't know how to explain it other than if you've seen a rodent hit by a vehicle, it just like all over the wall. His body falls limp. The shiv slides. His friend scurries back to the back of the cage, holding the bars, screaming at the top of his lungs. You see a long trail of urine going down his leg and going through the cracks. And Vannon can only pick up words such as "What the fuck, fucking asshole! Why the fuck would you do that?"
Hey, you fucking giant bear bug bitch thing! What are you doing?
I didn't mean to kill him. What is going on over
I
there,
was talking
man?
to those guys, man. I was trying to work it out.
He had a shiv. I'm not trying to get stabbed today.
You'd be fine. It's a fucking toothpick to you.
As this is all going on, the goblin slowly starts turning and just starts screaming help. To which
shut him up, man.
To which the guard comes back through with Kashak, and you can tell the guard was like unbuckling his pantalones, but he's kind of holding his belt. He very quickly opens the door and tosses Kashak into the cell with Sandy Ravage as well as the rest, and quickly tightens it up before she can compose herself. You can tell by the way her face looks that she was starting to work her way out of the cell. He motions himself back and walks into the cell and locks it behind him and pulls out, not his claymore, a wooden training sword, and looks at the bear, and he's like, "You do this?"
Yeah, I didn't mean to.
He motions for you to put down your plank, very politely. He's not really being too urgent. He clearly doesn't look like he cares much about the goblin.
Okay.
Can I compose myself a little bit and try to say, hey, come.
You
I want
can,
attack with
you
the
can, but
shield."
this is all happening really fast. You're kind of getting up while this is going on.
Okay.
You said he has a wooden training sword?
You can tell he didn't bring his full killing sword in. He brought like basically a baseball bat equivalent in, but he's got armor on. He's wearing some like plate armor. His helmet is maybe like it's just chainmail, but with like a little thin leather cap that's over top with a visor in front of him.
Can I roll a perception check to see if there's weak points on the armor?
Yeah, go for it.
Ooh. Ooh.
It was wisdom is the other one that factors in, right?
Make sure you move the stats over because perception is that plus modifier, and if you have a skill in it, you might also have a proficiency as well. So, because that's what that little number slot is next to it. You should have basically, if you're proficient in it, you get a bonus modifier. You get your proficiency bonus plus your wisdom modifier. So if you're +2 in wisdom, +2 for proficiency, so you get a +4 on the roll. Just for all of you, because I've heard multiple people I think don't have it right now. So just for
so my roll is 13.
You definitely can tell that the weak points are the chainmail, but like without picking up the plank, because you set down the plank, right?
No, I still had it.
Okay, so with a very firm strike, you could hit the chainmail pieces, but he's very ready, so you'd be opening up a fight. It would be his ability to counter to yours. It wouldn't necessarily be he's prepared for you.
Okay, I'll drop the plank then.
Okay. You're very
Jackal, you're muted, by the way.
So is he checking out the bear bug? Thank you.
Yeah, he's staring right at the bugbear.
Can I pick up the dagger and stab him in the throat?
The motion from where you're standing would be enough to draw his attention. You're kind of by the window from the last time we heard anything.
Right.
You're by the window. He's on the entrance, which is to your right. He's facing roughly the bugbear, but you're in his peripheral vision. And the shiv is way more close to the back end of the room. You could try, but like, I don't know. I would say your own vibe of this is like maybe just staying out of it based off of the composure. This guy looks like he probably would struggle with all of you going at once, but he's
I'm not
definitely
putting myself out of the way for some long-armed fucking bear bug shit fucking face guy who kills goblins.
Fuck you too, then.
Has he yet
That goblin
buckled
did
up his
nothing to you.
By the way, Shigar was covered in the gore from that hit, by the way. Like, the whole top of Shigar is just riddled in brain matter, and I'd say a couple of teeth landed in her cleavage, but, you know, it is what it is.
Has he yet buckled,
clean it later.
refastened his trousers?
No, his trousers are still a little undone.
Pull it down.
None of you are within, I would say none of you are currently within, like, quick range.
Wait, what do you mean quick range? Like, what is
Like,
the
you're
squares,
within 5
like,
feet. I would say Jackal's about 10 feet away. The cells are pretty big because they use these to clearly store drunks and other things in here. Jackal's about 10 feet away. I would say Gornok is probably about 15 feet away.
Mm-hmm.
And then Shigar, you're probably about 10 feet away diagonally. And then
I mean, can I do like a 5-foot step and put his pants down?
right now you're directly in front of him, so we would be rolling
Shit,
initiative.
Yeah, I don't want to start a fight yet.
So, did the guard say anything after I dropped the plank?
He kind of like not necessarily reduced his guard, but he's like, "That's a good bugbear." You know, I'll be honest. You know, the whole scrap with you guys at the tavern early tonight, it was a bit of a mess. You know, there was that shrouded figure that kind of came in. You guys were all kind of together, piled up against him, and then he did that little summoning circle thing that those mages do. And then he went off to who knows where, but then all of you guys were just trying, you're being all rowdy out there. It was just a mess. Look, all I'm saying is murder is the least of your concerns tonight. There's a lot of black magic and stuff going on, but it would be wise if y'all calm down. You know, I noticed the cell when I came in here earlier. I was about to have my time with the lady. You guys kind of ruined that. Now I got a downer. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's nothing super crazy, but, you know, I expect you to at least stay in here till tomorrow, till my supervisor pulls in. And if that's going to be a problem, then I'm going to have to make it so that you stay here all night, if you catch my drift. He then, at this point, motions and realizes his belt. While trying to maintain his composure, he slowly but subtly starts fastening his belt back together, meaning his hand is slightly less away from his belt, or his training sword, but still within a very close distance if anywhere directly in front of him were to try to do anything.
How close did you say I was to the guard?
About 15 feet away.
Given that I'm so large, how quickly could I close the gap?
You would roll initiative.
Yeah, we'll be starting a fight.
What does that mean?
They start a fight. So he might be able to take his turn before you.
I don't know if that's a good idea.
Yeah, especially like maybe if all of us seeing that we're all divided, like I don't want to fuck with that. Plus he's in armor. We're not. We don't have any of our.
It's also a training sword, though. He doesn't have his claymore on it.
Yeah, he doesn't have his actual claymore. He put that down.
What's a wooden sword going to do to me?
You're right. It's the stuff that I'm trying to teach you guys today.
I'm doing it. I'm going for it.
All right. We're gonna roll initiative. So the way this works is initiative is your is 10 plus your dexterity modifier.
Okay.
So no, it's you're no, actually it's you're right. Initiative. I'm dumb. I'm fucking crazy. Initiative is your dexterity modifier, so you roll a d20 plus your dexterity modifier.
I was just about to say.
Yeah, I'm dumb. I'm dumb.
Excuse me?
Static initiative.
What the fuck D&D are you playing?
Ghetto Man's D&D apparently.
Yeah, obviously. Jesus.
So I rolled a 17, but my +3 would make it 20.
Okay, let me put this down. So, those of you who are in the other cell, you don't need to roll initiative because you can't do anything.
I got 14.
Oh, so I have to roll 2?
If you're gonna take part in it, if you're not gonna take part in it,
I'll take part. It's a 20, right?
So Papa, you got a 20, right?
20.
Yeah, I got a 20.
Shigar, what'd you get?
14.
Okay.
And you
Vannon?
said Lexi's character is in the other cell, right?
Yeah, he put her over
she's
there.
in the other cell now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh shit, so it's just you and me?
It's just the three of us. You, myself,
Three of you and the goblin.
Vannon.
Yeah.
And
Wait, I thought Vannon was in the
Vannon's in your cell.
In our cell.
Oh.
Pay attention. So D20 and then plus what?
Plus your dexterity modifier.
Okay, so 12 plus 1 is 13.
13. Okay. Then let me just figure this out. Also, really quick for everybody on here, you're not wearing any armor. So your armor class is your unless you're a barbarian, because then you get your constitution as well. Your armor class is your it's 10 plus your dexterity modifier as well. So
And then for barbarians, it's plus con.
mm-hmm. So in your armor class slot, you can fill that in of what it is.
So it's what? Plus what?
13.
It's 10 plus your dexterity modifier. So that's the plus or minus or nothing if you don't have it.
All right.
Just keep that to note. If I have to roll against you, that's whether or not I hit you.
Just like whose line is it anyway? Everything's made up. The points don't matter.
Yep.
And the winner gets to do something special with Ricky later.
Exactly.
Oh, can I get Lexi instead?
No.
Can I get Ricky and Lexi?
That sounds like a fun time. So we have in one cell, we have Shigar, Gornok, Vannon, Henry the guard, and Grundle, the goblin.
Grundle.
The goblin.
Yeah.
I believe isn't Grundle also a term for the taint?
Yep.
Correct. Monster.
Great.
All right, just double checking.
You are certainly correct.
I have food.
Sorry, Dungeon Master, continue.
I'm just setting it all up right now.
Get ready, Dungeon Master, for this dick.
Let me see what Grundle here rolled.
I'd like to roll intimidation by whipping out my dick.
See, so those of you on the other side, if you want to, you can roll. You can do that if you want to.
So here's my thing. Can I know that I don't have any musical instruments, but is there any way that I can inspire them to do better in this beginning of this battle?
By voice?
When we get to your turn, if you want to explain to me how you would inspire, we'll see what we could do. I'm down to play with that. If that's what you want to do, then
I'm gonna try
go
it.
for
I don't know what it's worth it, but yeah, I'm gonna try.
That's the kind of fun stuff, dude. I promise you that. Let me see here.
I'm gonna try.
Real quick, just real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Can we use, if I wanted to try and intimidate, Gornak, could I do that?
You could, yeah. I mean, if you want to intimidate one of the other.
Excuse me, it's Gornak.
Gornak, excuse me, sir.
Wow.
Pig, however you go by.
Wow.
If it makes you feel better, Grundle rolled a 3.
Your preferred pig pronoun?
All right. By the way,
All right.
Papa, just to make sure you're clear, Gornak did drop the big old thing. So you're either gonna go fisticuffs, or you're gonna use or you'd have to pick back up the very large piece of wood, or you could motion for the shank that's about 10 feet to your right from where you're at.
I'm gonna motion for the shank while moving towards the guard.
That's a lot.
Fast as fuck, boy.
So it's 10 feet to your right, which would because you're about 15 feet almost directly in front of the guard. 10 feet to your right is directly to your right is where the shank's at. So you'd be moving over in that direction 10 feet. So then you have 20 feet to move back. You wouldn't be able to close distance on the guard within your turn unless you can use your bonus action to essentially sprint. If you do that, you don't get to take your action, which is your attack. So, I'm just letting you know. You could engage with him fisticuffs, you're a big boy, or you could try to grab the little pussy shiv and go for piercing.
I guess I was confused when you said motion. I thought you were meaning motion for Vannon or...
You could motion to them. You could use your you could say... You could point to Vannon within your bonus action. Say, hey, go grab that. Or just point at it and try and give the point across. And then you could still take your action and movement as normal.
But then I wouldn't be able to attack.
You'd be able to attack. I was saying if you were going to move over, pick up the knife, and then run all the way over to him, within your turn, you wouldn't be able to attack.
Gotcha. So yeah, I'll point to
Vannon, throw me that fucking dagger.
As I'm closing in to attack the guard.
Okay. So you're swinging with your fists. It's your strength to be able to hit.
Okay.
So it's just a d20 plus your strength.
21.
You hit. Then it's 1d4 plus your strength for your damage.
Oh, just 1d4?
Yep.
Okay.
And then
6?
6 damage?
Yeah.
Okay. So Gornak closed the distance after pointing at it and pointing at the shiv and motioning to Vannon to grab it. He closed the distance. He swings his large right fist over and hits him really hard in the right in the nape of the neck. You hear a little crack of the shoulder, but you can tell his left arm basically dislocated as he connected to him there. You said it was 6 damage?
Yeah.
His left shoulder looks really, really messed up, and he's pissed. And that ends your turn. Now we go to Shigar.
Since I do not have my weapon, you said I'm about 10 feet away from him.
You're about 10 feet right now. Yeah, it's about diagonal movement from you.
Okay. That's fine,
behind you about 10 feet is the shiv.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go for the shiv.
I'm just trying to give you a place.
No, okay. I have movement speed of 30 as well, so I guess I'll gap.
So you'll
And-
move up on Henry.
Yeah, I'll move up on Henry and use fist. Well.
Okay.
What was that roll again?
So it's your D20 plus your strength.
That'll be 15.
So you connect, but it bounces off the plate of his chest armor.
Shit.
It mostly wasn't your fault. You were gonna connect, but after his like arm snapped back, you just ended up glancing the chest instead. But it didn't hurt you at all.
Okay.
So that's your turn, Vannon. Your turn. Just so that you're at a sense of space from where you're at. The shiv is about 25 feet away from you in a straight run. That would be, how do you close the distance to that? To your right-ish, it would be about 15 feet to get to the guard.
Okay. So, seeing that Bugbear Man has provided Gornizzle, if you will,
Gornizzle.
has pointed to the dagger on the ground.
Only the homies can call me Gornizzle.
Only Dupe Snog can call you that.
Stating that he's pointed to his knife, I run over to it. As I run over to it, I am singing to myself, loud enough for everyone to hear. Here I am running to this knife for Gornak to take this guard's life. And I throw the knife to Gornak.
Okay, so
no.
one. Let's roll performance to see how that does. So we'll roll performance or charisma. I'm pretty sure they're the same for you, if not better, for performance for a bard.
Okay, for charisma.
Yeah, I think your probably your performance is better, right?
I don't have a performance that I know of.
Skill.
Let's see.
Should have performance.
I do have a performance.
It's right under perception.
Yeah, I do have a performance. It's +3. Yeah.
Okay, is that the same as your charisma?
Charisma. Yes.
It is +3. Yeah.
Okay. So then, yeah, just roll a d20 plus 3.
1d20.
Yep.
14.
14. With the performance that you've provided, Goranok feels way more confident in the fight, as well as Shigar, and they both have advantage on their next attack. As for, because you are concentrating on that, you still need to toss the knife.
Toss a knife to your bear
That is
man.
a d20 plus dexterity.
Why do I feel like the knife is going to end up just sticking into me?
It's 13.
So with that, it's a 13. Gornok, you just hit a man, and you see a knife coming your way. I need you to roll above a 13. I'm just gonna have you roll dexterity as your modifier to see if you catch the knife.
14, boy!
So as he reels back from this punch that broke the man's arm, his arm whips to the side and catches the blade mid-air. In just a moment of brief silence, you can just hear the palming of the knife, just the catching in the midair. So you now have the shiv for your next turn.
Hell yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Really good.
Job,
The
boys.
performance from Van in there gets him an inspiration as well. Our first of the campaign.
Yeah.
Add a +1 to your inspiration box right above your fish.
Oh.
You can use inspiration once per turn to re-roll a dice.
Oh.
Okay.
So re-roll a d20. And it's only on an action or something like that, not on an attack damage roll.
Like a skill or an action.
So like when we just did that to check to see if you could successfully do something. Save them. You'll want them for important things.
Cool.
So,
So if everybody in our cell gets an inspiration, or just Gornak?
Just you.
Myself and... Oh, I thought you said his song inspires myself.
You
and,
have advantage.
Sugar.
His...
Oh, okay.
Hit you and You and Shigar have advantage on your next roll. He got inspiration for him to use later on. You didn't get inspiration because it wasn't your performance that garnered.
I misunderstood. My bad.
All
He
right.
played his character in a very unique way that caused that bonus. Inspiration's a gift from the DM for him thinking creatively on his feet.
Good
What's
job.
up?
All right,
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say to move. What did you have a quick question or something?
Oh no, I was. Yeah, you're good.
Okay, so to move forward, because that's the end of Vanon's turn. The guard then pulls the training sword out and takes a swing at Gornok. Let me see here. Yeah, I know it hits. It was like a 23.
Jesus.
He rolled a 19, guys. I'm sorry.
Oh fuck.
Then he smacks Gornok with his training sword for 6 damage on your left arm. So it's just a solid whip. So your HP that we figured out, you had how much?
I'm at 4 now.
Okay. Yep.
I was at 10.
How?
He didn't have a Constitution buff, so he just had his.
Oh.
Yep.
Got it.
Remember, your HP is separate from your AC. Your AC is whether or not you get hit, but I just knew that you got hit based off of the how high it was.
So does the 6 damage to the arm then that does affect hit points, or
yes,
does that affect
that affects your hit
class?
points. Your armor class is whether or not I hit you, but because I knew I rolled so high, that's why I didn't ask. If I was at like an 11, I would have been like, "What's your AC?" Does an 11 hit? So you take a serious hit, I'd say at that point. I'd say even your left arm is really messed up off of that hit. You're surprised that the man mustered the strength, but he's really fighting for his life right now after you basically almost ripped his arm off.
You said I have the dagger in my right hand though?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, you after you reeled back, you caught it all badass. Like while you were focused on that, this guy just fucked your arm up. Grundle in the back actually rushes to tackle Vanin. So he's gonna do a strength check on you to see if he can like tackle you down.
What a bitch.
Yeah.
All right. How do I do a strength check?
Roll your D20
you're good.
plus
You don't
your
have to do anything. He had to roll a strength check because you're busy throwing the knife. The Grundle rushes to tackle. Yeah, I just rolled for him. He rushes to tackle Vanin, and in his urgency to try and tackle him down, he slips on one of the pieces of the bed and bashes his skull in so hard there's blood everywhere on the wall. He rolled a 1.
This one wasn't my fault, at least.
You hear a little moan, and Vanin, you just slowly turn over and see as he just like skids down and dies, and there's just a puddle of blood on the ground.
Slipped on a grain of sand.
Oh my god.
As this all happens, so within this fight, 2 guards burst through the door. One of them, not bringing a weapon, opens the chamber and follows in. This motion will take the next turn as he kind of comes through the door of the main cell. The other one takes his gauntlets off and opens the other cell, looking at the rest of you guys. He points at so this is all while it's going on for you guys in the right the other cell. He points at the slime, and the slime just shimmies its way out of the cell. And he's like, I know you're with those guys. Closes the cell and gathers his fists, thus causing the rest of you to roll initiative. So that's Sandy Ravage, Shorty McBiscuits, and Misha Kashak, and Paulsim Amans all need to roll their initiative as well.
Which is D20 plus...
D20 plus dexterity.
Oh, I'm fucked.
Dexterity bonus.
17.
6.
11.
Sorry, one sec. I'm just building the guards here.
So what just happened?
Basically, the rest of the guards in the building came in. The door's open on the outside, so the second locked door is wide open. One of them got all the way in on the chamber that I'd say the right chamber from the door, which is where Shorty McBiscuits, Sandy Ravage, and Paulison Mans and Kashak or Misha are all in. So you guys are all up against one guard. And then the other guard went in to reinforce his buddy because he saw the damage that was going on. Basically, they're coming in to whoop ass after they see that their friend's being attacked.
So, do they have our cell door open?
Basically, right now, the cell door is open on your side. Same goes for there, but they're both standing.
Combat, so there's limited ways.
Yeah, like they're standing in the doorway right now as we speak, and their next turn is occupied opening the cell, coming into the cell, and shutting the door. So that's what you can perceive.
Opportunity then?
I would say yes if you're close enough, but right now everybody on the one cell that's already in a fight is currently on the other side of Henry the guard. But if you got close, I would say you have advantage while they're trying to mess with the door lock.
Okay. Do we have everyone's initiative?
Just about 1 second.
So now you ain't got mine.
Oh snap! Crackle pop!
Ooh, a Rice Krispie treat sound good.
Oh my god, that does.
We have an angry burnt chicken nugget yelling at us.
Oh my god, food.
Sorry guys, try to figure this initiative out here. Ooh.
Don't drop the food.
What do you have? What is that?
Apollo burger.
Oh, never mind.
I don't know what that is, but it sounds amazing.
Oh my god.
Hold on.
All right. Really quick. I know everybody's talking. Misha, what's your roll?
13.
13. And then Shorty.
17.
Hey, Shawty.
And then Sandy.
Look at your birthday.
6.
Ooh. And then Paulson.
11.
You bitches. Dice are fucking me, man.
The dice gods are not always nice.
Oh.
Let me see here. I forgot. Gornok, you rolled a 20. That's insane. Good start.
What, this is on. What are we rolling for?
Basically your turn in combat.
Okay.
So you're not entirely fucked.
Non-Utah residents, do you know what fry sauce is?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a fucking godsend. Okay.
My mom used to make it as dip, like normal chips, so like the mayo, the ketchup, and then she would put a little bit of pepper, and then.
Jack was shaking his head. What the fuck, bro?
And
Fucking
some Italian.
So my parents used to put like ketchup, mayonnaise, and then like Dijon mustard and like all seasoning in it. Like what? Season all. There you go.
I have
all seasoning,
ghost pepper
everything.
mustard.
Yeah, no.
I have
Calm
ghost
down.
pepper mustard I mix into my fry sauce.
Yeah,
Bro.
no,
You
fuck
bring that to me?
Yeah.
Fuck that. Burn my fucking face off.
Oh hey you guys, do you want to see something that's on my desk at all times?
Is it porn? Oh.
I was gonna say a picture of me, but okay.
Can confirm.
You are plastered on the wall.
All right, I got the turn order. All right, let's get this. So we're gonna go back from the top because again, there's people mid-action while this is going on. So remember, when we get to certain people's turns, they're gonna finish up what they're doing, and then they will move, or they won't be able to like attack you this turn. So first up, Gornok. Remember, you're directly in front of the guard that just struck you. You've caught the knife. Your arm's hurt.
Hit in this arm.
You're with D&D, by the way. I'll say like damaging things that really hurt you. That nothing's gonna actually immobilize your arm. Like it's just more an indication of how the combat's going. It did fuck you up because you're down to 6 HP, right?
I'm down to 4.
4. Oh yeah, you're pretty low. So.
If I recall correctly from my perception check on the guard's armor, he had a weak point near his neck. Is that right? Okay. I'd like to try and stab the shiv into his neck.
Cool. All right, roll your d20 plus your strength.
18.
18? You hit?
God.
Now roll 1d6 plus your strength, and that's your damage.
1d6 plus strength?
Yep.
9.
9?
9!
So you swing back with your lanky arms, and you stab a little bit. You were aiming for like the neck, but you stabbed a little bit more into the shoulder piece, just because of the way he was moving after hitting you, as well as just trying to take in what's coming on. You don't necessarily kill him, but you do drop him. Like you see a good amount of blood coming out of his shoulder. Basically, his whole left side is fucked up. He's probably got another hit in him, but depending on if someone hits hard enough. But he's definitely faltering. Yeah, that's Gornok's turn. On to Shorty in the other cell.
Okay.
For those of you who are magic wielding, just to kind of get the balls rolling, your dependable or your skill, your strongest skill is usually your spellcasting one. We're just gonna use it for today. If I'm wrong here, we're fine. Everybody will live. Basically, you'll use that as your attack modifier, and just because of the night and how drunk and kind of mismatched you are with everything, the spellcasters, so that's Paulsum and Shorty, and I'm pretty sure Vannon as well, but he's been doing his due diligence. Oh, by the way, Papa, you had advantage. Just roll to see if you had a d20, because you had that advantage on that attack.
Yeah, I was gonna say something.
What was the previous roll?
Just it was an 18 total, but let's see if you got a crit. That'd be the only thing that would change your outcome.
I just rolled a 19.
Yeah, it wouldn't have changed it. It would have been the same.
Well, a 19 plus 4 though, does that change?
If you roll a nat 20, so when you just roll a 20, that'll double your damage plus your. Yeah.
I do have a question though, because sometimes with certain daggers, crit 19, it'll be like 19-20 for a crit.
Not on this one. It's just a little homely shiv. Okay. So. Yeah, we're talking something that was probably whittled from butt soap.
Okay.
Did you say butt soap?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what
Man's got a whittle. Man's got a whittle.
My roll doesn't change.
Yeah, it doesn't change anything. Yeah, we recorded the history.
He's still crumpled on the floor, bleeding.
Yes. For the spellcasters, you can remember just off the top of your head in the heat of combat. You can remember the what's the basic fireball? It's not the actual fireball.
Did you just say the meat heat of combat?
Pretty much. Sandy's like, I know some meat that'll give you some heat. I'm gonna talk about some rim gyms. So you can recall basically the little fireball cantrip, which is just gonna be your spellcasting modifier. So whatever your highest, whether that's charisma, wisdom, or intelligence, plus proficiency to be able to hit. So you do have that advantage since you're all really weak. Anyways, so back to Shorty's turn. Yeah, I would say
how far away am I from this guy?
You're probably about 25 feet away.
I have determined my spells.
What was that? It really cut you out there.
Sorry, I was leaning away for a second. I haven't determined my spells yet, have I?
Like I said, you're kind of coming together. You can recall in the heat of this action your fireball cantrip, basically. Or you can go fisticuff him. You know, whatever you want to do.
I get a fireball?
Yeah.
Cantrip.
Not a fireball proper. You'd fuck him up if you had a fireball proper.
Only I can.
All right, let's use that.
Okay.
From where I'm at.
So roll a d20 plus yours. What is your strongest ability modifier?
It is wisdom or dexterity.
Okay, so wisdom. You'll have plus wisdom plus proficiency.
22.
Was that a nat 20 or was it 22 with everything?
22, 19 plus 3.
Okay, so you hit. So now what you'll roll is a d6 plus your, or it's just a d6. I'm sorry.
5.
5 damage. Nice. All right, so you just see this fireball come out of Shorty. For those of you, so Sandy and Paul Sim are like, what the fuck? Little fucking fireball lights the dude, and you see his whole chest piece kind of like get
I'm in that cell with
smoldered.
them too, aren't I? Cause
Oh yeah, you're in there as
Yes.
well. You also see that as well. Sorry, I'm losing track of everybody. There's a lot going
I
on.
don't care though.
Yeah, you're probably just like having a time. The fireball engulfs his whole chest piece, but you can see underneath the helmet as his beard hairs singe, and you can just feel the like screams of pain as he's trying to close the door. And that is that's your turn. Your turn.
That's
Back
your
to the other
Good
cell, Shagar.
Is the dagger or the shiv?
Is it, what was that?
There you
It's he pulled it back out.
Thick.
You could try to motion and take it from him.
Did you say his face was, or like a helm or something?
He has a chainmail piece over his head with like a leather helm that has like a metal piece in front of it. So it's like a I don't know what to call that helmet, but it's basically
Yeah.
something to roughly protect his head. But that little shiv got through the chainmail.
A4 helmet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just punch him in the neck where Gornak?
Yep. Gornak.
Gornak stabbed him.
Okay. Let's do it.
Alright, roll with advantage. May the dice gods be with me. Fuck, reroll that one. 15. Did you say plus strength?
Plus your strength.
That'll be 20 total.
You hit.
Yeah.
So then 1d4 plus your strength.
A day 4. Oh god. Come here. 7 damage.
So as you come around, so he pulls the knife out and he's starting to like slump down a little bit. You crack at his neck and you hear a snap of his neck as he just tumbles to the ground. His sword kind of empties his hand on the other side of the body as he kind of crumples to the ground. His buddy who's coming in, seemingly noticing how much damage you've just done, he's definitely hurrying to get the door shut so he can have his way with you guys.
I also yell out after I heard the snap, crackle, pop! Gotta.
Vannon.
Go. So how close am I to the goblin that just met his untimely demise?
You are like 5 feet away from him. You're like almost in touching distance.
Can I do a perception, see if he has got anything on him that it might be useful, or see the area around him?
Yeah, roll a perception check for me.
All
That's a
right,
d20
so
plus your perception.
More thinking, my man.
D20 plus perception, which is what? Charisma?
Dexterity or perception's
Dexterity,
wisdom.
I'm
Sorry, my bad. Wisdom.
Wisdom. Okay. 13.
So you actually, as you're looking at his body, because he kind of crumpled and his little loincloth kind of unraveled, you see a actual dagger tucked on his like thigh, a full metal dagger. You can use your bonus action to pull that dagger out if you'd like.
I would like to do that.
So you grab the dagger. You kind of turn to the side here. You are still about 35 feet away from the guard closing the door. So you could rush to get really close to him for your next fight, or you could get 30 feet. You get within distance and just kind of like approach him, but not overextend yourself, and then save your attack for next turn because you're just a little out of reach, I believe.
Is the guard facing me, or is he facing?
He's currently occupied with the door, so he's glancing back, but he's just trying to lock from the inside.
So is there? All right. So here's my idea.
Okay.
I'm gonna try and scoop up some goblin blood with my free hand.
Okay.
Throw it at the guard's eyes to blind him.
Okay. That's a little bit of a stretch, but let's roll. Let's roll. Let's roll a dexterity one there. Because you'd be quick hands, because you'd need to be able to scoop enough blood fairly fast and throw it with precision that it hits him directly in the face.
Yeah. So that's a 20, right?
A D20, and I'm gonna say just because of how difficult the task is, I'm gonna say you're gonna have to do it with disadvantage because you're both grabbing the knife and then scooping some blood, like.
Hey man, I'm trying things. So I got a 6.
Okay, so you with disadvantage you still would have basically failed, but you scoop the blood and you toss it. It just doesn't. It goes about 5 feet in front of you. You really tried. You gave it your all, but more of it stuck to your hand than it went anywhere, and it was a little bit of a mess.
It was an idea, all right? I got a dagger. It's fine.
But you got the dagger, and then you still have some movement if you want to move a little closer.
Yeah, I'll try and move as close as I can.
Okay, so what's your movement speed?
30.
Okay, so you move 30 feet. You're about 5 feet away from him.
Okay.
So next turn you're within range. If he decides to push you, he could be upright in your business. All right, on to Misha.
He walks away.
And gone.
On to Misha. Fuck you.
Sorry.
I know, listen to
Deliver
you.
food.
You're currently.
Huh?
You got up all the way after your encounter, I should say.
So my little boo thing dead, right?
Your little what?
Boo thing. The one that tried to,
Yeah, the one that you went down on already. He's dead.
Yeah, he's super dead.
Yeah, you fucked him up.
High
Okay.
five, by the way. We tag team that shit.
He goes to high five, but his left arm's limp.
Right?
Is there any wood or any sharp? Can I do a perception check to see if there's anything around me that's sharp and small that I can throw it?
Sure. Yeah, roll a perception check for me.
Okay. Okay, hold on. So that would be 22.
Ooh.
Not nat 20, but 22.
Yeah.
Total.
So you notice by the lip of the bed, just behind it, out of very obvious sight, like even if you were really combing the room, but because you're like at the specific angle, you see a part of the bed that is really pretty much well kept together. Someone had stored what looks like a throwing star, just like on the edge, and from where you're at, you can pick that up and use it.
Okay.
Fuck.
So I see this and I pick it up, yes?
Mm-hmm.
And I want to throw it at person who's trying to lock door here.
Okay.
He has not achieved yet, correct?
No.
Okay, yeah, I throw it at person, okay?
Okay, and that's your it's a D20 plus your dexterity for the throw.
Correct. Okay, hold on. I need to add this to whatever. Side note, the app, Fight Club or whatever, it does have a little dice roller in it. If you do have that app for iOS, if you so need. Just side note. Okay. You said dexterity?
Yep, D20 plus dexterity.
14.
14?
Yes.
So this whole recovery, you pick up this throwing star, and it looks a little old, but you know it'll get the job done. You turn, but because of like your positioning, toss it. It bounces off the metal plating on his back.
This motherfucker's AC?
It's 16.
Oh, you're telling me how nice?
You know, wow. Like one off.
Okay. How far am I from
the star bounces backwards? I would say it's actually closer, at least from what I'm perceiving of the room as. Shorty was on the closer to the other cell side.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, weren't you guys really close to each other? Actually, Sandy and Shorty were fairly next to each other. You're actually on the other side.
Yeah, I was hiding behind him.
Yeah, so you're over more to the right. So it's on the opposite side, over closer to the other cell. The star is about 15 feet away from you. You could use the rest of your movement to go and pick it up if you wanted to, or be next to it, I should say, because you used your bonus action already, really, to pick it up.
How close am I to entrance? Where person? Me.
You're about 30 feet away.
I will move 20 feet close.
Okay.
And that's it.
Cool. All right, pulse him. All right, Squid, what are we doing?
How far am I from the guard?
You're actually closer to the star because you're back in that corner. At least the last time we heard you move. You're about 10 feet away from the star, about 40 feet away from the guard closing the gate.
Damn. Okay, so.
But remember, you can cast a cantrip because you're a mage.
Will the cantrip cover the room, basically?
It's just a ranged attack. You could cast basically a fireball.
Okay. Let's do that.
It's your D20 plus your intelligence plus 2.
It's a D20, not a D6.
You don't just get damage, yeah.
Okay. Plus my intelligence. 10 plus 3. That's 13 plus 2 is
15.
15.
That was with your intelligence, right?
Yep.
So the ninja star bounces off. She struggles to get up there. You turn around after fumbling all your stuff together. You got it all back. You're feeling good. And even though you really don't know much to these guys, you can tell they're a scrappy bunch, and you decide to help. So you muster up some magical energy, contrary to what you've been using it for up to this point. But you know how to do it. You fire a little fireball. But it's honestly like a surprisingly wimpy fireball, and it hits the armor and just kind of like absorbs in the chest plate. And Shorty glances over at you like, what?
The fuck was that, man?
Are you even trying, bro?
I've seen some weak fireballs in my time, but that takes the cake, brother.
Like, do you even
I was flustered.
Did you see what happened with mine?
I just got my toenails back.
Do you even fireball, dude?
He's got a good point. Give him a break.
All right, on to the guard inside of your cell, inside of Sandy, Shorty, and Paul Sim, and Misha's cell. Manages to lock the door and prepare themselves in their turn. Which then moves us on to Sandy.
Fucking Christ. He locked the door?
Yep.
Fuck him up. He's still in there,
He still has
right?
his keys and stuff. He's in there. You're not out.
Oh, he's in the
in the cell, yeah. He locked it. He wants to do his stuff, but he doesn't want you to go anywhere.
How far am I from him?
Oh, you're 10 feet away. You can close the distance real quick.
I'm 10 feet away.
Yep.
My movement speed is 30.
Oh, you got this.
Oh, you close it and you can punch him right in the face.
I want to try to knock him out.
All right, dude. So you move up close, then roll a d20 plus. What's your strength?
Plus. You gotta be 5.
Shit, dude.
I am a fake wrestler after all. I mean,
I'm gonna tell me how Sandy would prepare for this. Let me see if I can do anything for you. How would Sandy be running at this?
fuck. I don't know, dude. I'm fucking tired. Like,
all right.
I'm exhausted.
I'd say Sandy being rusty and a little down on his luck. He takes a swing, but he realizes he's not as close as he thought he was, and he's used to kind of feigning his punches, right, for the ring. He's got to put on a show, but he needs to do it for real this time, so he kind of just whiffs in the air. But he realizes it and catches himself halfway through and gets to try again.
Ooh. Reroll.
Gonna do it again. Take another attack.
8.
Well, let's just say he's been wrestling for a long time. And old habits die hard. The guard's too busy dealing with a very hot breastplate. He doesn't even really bat an eye at Sandy. He instead locks eyes at Shorty. Guess that's it. The other guard in the other room manages to shut the door, lock it, and turn around. Back to Gornok's turn.
How far away am I from the guard?
Oh, you're like maybe 10 feet, probably like 8 feet-ish.
Does the guard have... The guard does not have a weapon on him,
Yeah,
right?
neither of them brought a weapon in. They're just using their fists.
Is he still facing towards the door, or has he turned in?
He turned in.
Okay. I'm gonna try and punch him in the face.
Cool.
Close the gap and punch him in the face.
Okay, run up, D20 plus your strength.
Runneth up, bitch.
6.
Or wench, sorry.
Something between all of the commotion of watching a man die and a goblin get killed and everything, and just like honestly your own pain. You think you're closer than you are, but you just end up whiffing the punch. And the guard slightly moves back a little bit, which makes you feel better about it, but it still wasn't what you wanted. And with that, we move on to Shorty.
Yo, dude's eyeing me.
Yeah, he's staring you down.
Hmm.
Even though Sandy just took a couple of wrestling whiffs at him.
I'm like 20 feet away.
Yeah.
I got 25 movement. Okay.
Punch him in the dick.
Yep, that's what I was gonna say. I'm gonna run up and punch him in the dick as hard as I can.
Because of his like armor codpiece, you're gonna have to do an uppercut. I would say, yeah, roll a d20 plus your dexterity. Give that to this one.
15.
15. So you're it's a big punch, right? You're warming up, you're excited about it, and it just scrapes the front of his codpiece. And
You missed the
he's
tank.
looking down at you like, really? And with that, we move on to Shigar.
Alright, new guard that's not dead. Punched, right?
Yep.
How far am I away from dude?
You are about 20 feet away.
Alright, I'm gonna move in on him.
Okay.
And, throw these hands.
Roll them hands.
Throw these hands.
Alright, d20 plus your strength.
Ooh. That's a total of 6.
Oh my god, guys. Special teams coming out here late at night, huh?
I rolled a nat 1 of that.
Oh shit.
I'm the honest player.
Alright, so to clarify what happens here, Shigar, also brazen and rushing to go and finish this fight and get out of the cell, rushes the punch, slips on the body of Henry, and full on decks Gorok in the back. Roll a d4
Ow, what the hell?
I'm so like sorry. 2 damage.
You take 2 damage, Gora.
God damn it, I'm gonna need you to knock that off.
I'm just like giving you some love punches to like, inspire you in the fight.
Love punches.
Well, that shit fucking hurts.
I am so sorry. Like, I'll buy you
Vannon,
later.
Vannon, seeing the mess that is going on, feels like he needs to control the situation in this cell, and feels a tremendous urge to just wrap it up sharply. And if he decides to bum rush, the guard's occupied, kind of laughing at these two. He has advantage on his next melee attack in this guy.
Perfect. That was what I was going to ask is if he was looking away, I would like to try to stab this guy right in the fucking kidney.
All right, do it. Roll this.
right.
Roll to see if you hit. D20 plus dexterity.
17.
You hit.
Ooh.
Remember, you have advantage too. You can re-roll to see if you crit, unless that was your highest.
Oh yeah, that was definitely my highest.
Okay.
And then D6 for
D6 plus your dexterity.
plus dexterity 4.
So you stab him. You actually stab him right below the kidney, but you see a large amount of blood pooling out. I don't know if this guy's just the scrawnier of the dudes, but you hit him really nasty right there. He kind of like bends down as you pull the blade out. You can tell, I mean, you didn't really eye over the blade all too much as you picked it up off of him, but you can tell that maybe there was another effect as you stabbed into him. You can see his like composure starting to be unwieldy. Roll another D4.
You want me to roll another D4?
Yep.
4.
He actually slumps to the ground as bubbles gurgle out of his mouth. What you can tell is that dagger seemed to have some sort of toxin on it.
Hell yeah.
From your cell, because you guys are now free, you see the keys just in his other hand. So that's the end of Vannon's turn. Back over to Misha.
She's muted.
Yeah.
I forgot my name.
All right. Let's get going. We're running a little long here.
30 feet. So am I? How close am I to the person now?
You are. You moved. You closed the distance, right? You moved 20 feet up, so you're 10 feet away.
Okay, cool. Do I have? So did somebody pick up sharp object? I had to leave to pick up dog.
Nobody. It's still on the ground over to your right, about
Okay.
15 feet ish.
Can I? How tall is person?
He's, I don't know, maybe about 5.5 feet, almost 6 feet.
Okay. I want to try to overpower him.
So you're just gonna try and grab him and.
Yes.
She's gonna try and grab him.
Roll a d20 plus your strength.
Plus strength. Okay, hold on. Find app. Okay. Oh shit. That would be 19.
So, surprisingly enough, to everyone in the cell's dismay, she walks up and grabs both of his hands, and she's got him deadlocked. They're still struggling back and forth. She'll have to definitely overcome it in either her next turn or something. But for the rest of you, it does mean you have advantage on your next attack because he's currently immobilized.
Ooh.
Unless you're shooting directly behind Misha. With that, we'll move on to Paul Sim.
And I'm about 40 feet from him.
Yep. Yeah, you were about 40 feet. Casted. You could cast again. It's a cantrip.
Yeah.
You would
I think
want to
I'm
move
gonna-
about 10 feet to your right to be comfortable with it, though, because right now Misha's in your way.
I think I want to just move closer to him
Okay.
because I wanted them toes.
What's this?
Can I just move 20, 25 feet closer?
Yeah, just do it. You can, if you want to just close the distance. If you're not taking it, if you can't actually do your action, you can sprint over to it and double your running speed.
Yeah, I'll just sprint.
Okay. All right. And with that, we move onto him. He's struggling back. He's going to roll a d20 to see if he can overpower. You said it was a 19, Allie?
Yes.
He's struggling, but he's not going anywhere. With that, we move on to Sandy. So right now, the dude is restrained. You have advantage if you decide to hit him. You could fully finish restraining him and just, like, hold him down.
How is he restrained?
Right now, think of it as like they have grabbed hands, right? He's just kind of locked up. Misha is grabbing his hands and restraining him roughly. Not enough that he's, like, he can't do anything, but enough that he's... If you went over to attack him, you have an advantage.
Is she holding him against something?
Kind of up against the door.
Is she in the way of any attack I would launch?
Not from your direction, no.
I'm gonna drop kick him.
Wait, are we drop kicking me or him?
Do it. All right, roll d20 with strength.
Oh my god!
What'd you get?
Nat 20.
Yeah.
23.
All right.
Yes, bitch.
Totes, I'm gonna
First
ask
nat
you.
20.
As you go for the drop kick, Misha sees what you're doing and lets go and slightly backs up. And tell me what you do to this poor fool to end his life.
Those first two were just a warm up, man. Now get ready for why they call me Sandy Ravage.
And I run up and I jump 10 feet in the air and I kick my fucking. I jump 10 feet in the air in a cell that's only 8 feet high, and I
Go through the roof.
The show lights are perfectly on him, by the way.
I just plow my feet into this guy's chest.
You hear the denting of metal, and you can just feel it as it caves into his chest. And he just like flies about 15 feet to the other edge of the cell, and his neck just snaps on the bar, and he slumps down to the side. And because of the kick being so impressive, the door doesn't even need the keys. It just swings open politely.
You're welcome. Let's go.
Fucking legit.
As all of this happens and you guys are all trying to gather yourselves, a hooded figure walks through the door and just does the hand motion of come here. And that's where we'll end the this week's session.